Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 8444 Southwest Tie Loop here in Tualatin, located on the left side of the house. We're a little bit more than halfway back. In fact, your best landmark, should you lose track of this clean out, and this is described as if you're standing in the street facing the front door of the home. You are the second to last vent on the left side of the house before you get to the back of the home here, so along the left side. Anyway, 3-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Waters are running. We're going to zero out. Off we go. And right out of the gate, that is a very, very clean flow line there. Void of grease buildup and all that fun stuff, which is very nice to see. My camera right now, if you haven't figured it out already, is upside down. The water is not flying through the air. And this is probably a fairly lengthy sewer line, just where it's situated coming out of the home. So we're mostly going to just zip the camera out to the main here. We'll get our best view of everything as we pull back in once the line's all drained out. And I've got a garden hose running full bore right now, which puts a lot of water down the pipe and kind of overwhelms the camera lens anyway. Just transitioned there over to concrete pipe. We'll check the transition. Typically, concrete pipe from this era is generally 6-inch diameter, but sometimes it's 4-inch. Went through a little bit of standing water there, but it's a very good distance from the house. That's where you want standing water to be if you're going to have any. And to boot, I don't know exactly where the right-of-way is until I go out and start locating, but as far as I know, Tualatin is still accepting responsibility for the sewer line once you hit the right-of-way. So most, if not all, the concrete pipe we're in right now will fall into city territory. The transition to concrete very typically takes place at the right-of-way. And we've got a little bit of standing water towards the end of the line. We actually just entered into a manhole. It was hard to see it. If I can back up a little bit, but I could see the shape of the trough going into it. It's right here at about 85. Yep, there it is right there. We're going to go locate while the line drains. Alrighty, located the camera head successfully. So if you go stand out in the road and face the house, again, that's how I describe everything. Just off to the left of the driveway, fairly close to the middle of the cul-de-sac, but to the left of the driveway, you'll see a manhole. And the way we're angling into that thing, it looks like the line's coming up near the driveway, and then it turns and then shoots off into the street to hit the manhole there. And in a direction and kind of in line as if you were in a car leaving the cul-de-sac to head away from the house. In case you're really curious how the line's oriented. A little bit of standing water here at the end of the line. In fact, what you've got right there, I can't tell if you have excess pipe grout in the line. You've got a hard obstruction right in the middle of the flow line there. It almost looks like a big giant rock. That, or it's possible excess pipe grout from when they grouted that joint shut. Anyway, that is something you could always forward onto the city. I mean, you've got a little bit of a wall there for stuff to run into. The plus side is that's getting a very long distance from the house. We're 80 feet out at that point. I would only foresee that ever leading to a flow problem under abusive scenarios. So if you're flushing lots and lots and lots of junk down the line that has no business going down the pipe, balled up paper towels, junk like that, wipes. Flushable wipes are also one I do not recommend putting down your sewer. They are slightly less terrible than paper towels are, especially in older, rougher pipe materials like concrete. They fare reasonably well in plastic pipe because of the smooth pipe walls. But if you're even going to use them at all, what I highly recommend to people is that you use them as your last wipe and you flush them completely separate from everything else. When you start wadding them up or getting too thick of a mass of them, they act almost exactly like paper towels do. I'm going to go locate right here really quick just to see where this transitions, but most of the concrete actually looks quite good. It's not till you get out to the end there where you've got that kind of obstructive issue going on in the flow line. By that point, you're way into city territory. Okay. So right now, my locate is coming in right up against the left side edge of the driveway. So it's right here where the line makes its turn and kind of shoots off. If you can imagine like a straight line going up the left side of the driveway, the line veers away from it at about a 45-degree angle, about halfway up the side of the driveway there. Now that's just a, you know, if you were to draw a line across the front of the property about where the right-of-way is, which is, likely a couple feet behind where the big green utility box is there to the left of the driveway, it's about in that realm there where the line transitions. A little less than halfway up the driveway if you were walking from the street up towards the house. I'll put a little diagram. I don't do locates on every inch of the line, but I get a couple general ones. So the drawing I'll make you is kind of a rough diagram. Basically, the line travels up the left side of the house, up, along the side, the left side edge of the driveway, and then it turns and shoots off to the road. Anyway, if you want to keep your line this clean, and this thing is spiffy clean, this is exactly how you want your pipe to look right here, is not putting cooking oil and grease down the pipe. If you have kiddos in the household that are still learning how to fold toilet paper up, and or you're a household that likes to use flushable wipes, things like that, keeping grease buildup out of your line is a very important thing. It helps, it makes your line, not that you should abuse your sewer line, but it makes your line a lot kinder to abusive items. You don't have all that sticky grease buildup to snag things up and hold on to them. So, wipe your pans out with a paper towel, pour the grease into a jar. Obviously don't do that when it's piping hot, so you don't burn yourself. A thin little coating of Pam spray is no big deal. It's when you're putting real quantity down the lines where it gets you. Oh, anyway, everything from the clean out access, most importantly that's on property out to the streets, is in good shape, clean as a whistle, has good flow. The only where in the line I can even nitpick flow is the very end of the sewer line. You've got some standing water and that what looks like a chunk of excess pipe grout at the very end of the line at the connection to the main. At the distance that stuff is from your house, there's basically only one way you could ever get that to act up, and that's abusing the sewer line and doing it pretty consistently. If you can imagine a blockage even forming at 80 feet, you have to fill up 80 feet of pipe just to get back to the house. And then even more so to get to your first fixture. You're filling up probably close to 100 feet of sewer pipe. That much water creates a massive amount of head pressure. That's the water weight sitting on a blockage. There are very few blockages that can withstand that kind of head pressure unless they're made out of purely abusive items. So, anyhow, you could always forward that onto the city so they're aware of it, but being that there's no buildup in the line out there to even recommend cleaning on, it's probably unlikely they're going to come out and fix the sewer line, but they might tag it, and if there's ever a street repair or project going through, sometimes they'll try and kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone. So that's, if you can tell, I'm not terribly concerned about it. It's nothing I'd go barking about too much. All the pipe that falls into homeowner territory is in good condition, has good flow, and is super clean. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.